Is the Cold War making a comeback at the sea levels? Yes, you heard me right. We're diving deep into a new naval surveillance strategy, trying to keep an eye on what's lurking below. This could sound familiar to some listeners. A little déjà vu, perhaps? Welcome to Hear the Web. I'm Tom, your host for today.
And I'm Lily, bringing you the happenings from the deep blue and beyond. Ready to dive in? Don't forget to strap on your scuba masks. We're journeying deep into a story that might feel ripped from a Tom Clancy novel, a hidden world of submarine warfare, spy cables, global intrigue, and high-tech countermeasures.
We're at a location called, now let's see if I get this right, Lily, Integrated Undersea Surveillance Command. A rather grand and ominous title, isn't it?
Indeed, Tom. For many years, this facility was used for tracking whale movements and measuring rising sea temperatures. That was until October of last year, when a radical shift in focus occurred, souring a sensation of Cold War nostalgia.
Now, this Navy unit's hefty new purpose: to revive an anti-submarine spy program known as the Integrated Undersea Surveillance System, or IUSS. And let me tell you, this isn't just a simple tech update. It's a multi-billion-dollar enterprise.
Keep in mind, this revival comes just as China sharpens its military exercise activities around Taiwan, something that naturally is raising a lot of eyebrows globally. The scale of the IUSS revamp project is indeed massive. Think existing underwater acoustic spy cables getting upgrades, surveillance ships getting packed with cutting-edge sensors and subsea microphones.
And it's not only the US jumping onto this underwater bandwagon, Australia is also getting on board with similar technological adoptions to up the ante of its Pacific defences. Part of this revival strategy involves the use of new technologies to scale down and distribute traditional maritime surveillance tools.
That's right, Tom. You see, when the original network of fixed spy cables scattered in secret were put in place 7 decades ago, they were designed to spy on Soviet submarines. But today's plan runs deeper.
It has everything, doesn't it? There's a fleet of unmanned sea drones to listen for enemy craft, underwater satellite sensors on the seafloor, satellites tracking ships' radio frequencies, and artificial intelligence to analyze maritime spy data. It's an overhaul for the modern era, where multiplicity and distributed capacity rules.
Indeed, Tom. But let's not forget our big player in the backdrop, China, building its own maritime spy program, named the Great Underwater Wall. Even as we paint this picture of an emerging tech-infused aquatic Cold War, we see China laying its own dense network of sonar sensors along the South China Sea seafloor.
Plus, China's not stopping at the seafloor. Word is out that Beijing too is building a fleet of underwater and surface sea drones to look out for enemy submarines. The state-run China Academy of Sciences even runs underwater sensors in some of the Earth's deepest known points for what they claim are scientific purposes.
But let's be real, Tom. These sensors could pretty easily track movements near the U.S. naval base on Guam, a Pacific island territory. As John F. Kennedy said, the times are too grave, the challenge too urgent, and the stakes too high to simply stay put and watch.
It does feel a bit like a huge chessboard, doesn't it? Every move we make shifts the geopolitics of this subsea battleground. Let's return to the United States and unpack the drivers behind their surveillance push.
Great point, Tom. There are 3 main aspects that drive the U.S. surveillance expansion. It starts with the rise of China as a sea power, the potential threat it poses to Taiwan, and the critical undersea infrastructure. The cat is out of the bag that unmanned sea vehicles have proven their worth in Ukraine's offensive against invading Russian forces, a clear signal of the vulnerability of large surface vessels.
Last but not least, these endeavours are propelled by rapid technological change. We're seeing a surge in more sensitive underwater sensors, artificial intelligence, and sea drones, fueling a surveillance arms race between Beijing and Washington.
Precisely, Tom. And this isn't happening 100 miles away in an isolated sea. The storm is gathering speed right at the doorstep where Taiwan is the eye. Despite U.S. warships and submarines being technically superior, China owns the largest navy in the world, with about 340 ships and submarines that are more advanced, silent, and elusive than ever.
The integration of technology in maritime surveillance is of paramount importance in this era, making the scene a lot more complex than a game of battleship. It's not just about keeping track of enemy submarines, but also about safeguarding the global network of subsea internet cables that drive the veins of our digital world.
The undersea internet cables have emerged as a critical asset, and the competition between the United States and China to control advanced technologies has become a pertinent issue. These cables carry around 99% of global internet traffic. If they're compromised, the fallout would be catastrophic on a global scale.
Just think about it. An incident took place in February where 2 undersea internet cables connecting Taiwan with the Matsu Islands were cut, taking weeks to restore internet service fully. We need to find a balance between military strategies whilst safeguarding our digital lifelines.
As the stakes rise, both sides are increasingly turning to unmanned surveillance vessels to keep an eye on the seas. This reduces the risk of explosive confrontations and escalations. Now, these sea drones are unarmed, but they can be equipped with high-definition cameras, microphones, satellite links, and other spy apparatus.
Right. What once was a science fiction plot, this is now becoming a thriller reality. And it's not just about the superpowers, Lily. We're talking about a broader array of international players involved here, with mediums like Saildrone and other drone startups supplying a fleet of small, uncrewed vessels for maritime reconnaissance.
The landscape is shifting, Tom, and all players, big or small, need to step up their game. Both China and the US understand this. In a sense, they are not just shaping the narrative, they are also being shaped by it. Underneath the waves of the global oceans, a new kind of power play is unraveling. The question is, who will master the surge?
What an insightful conversation, Lily. This undersea espionage really makes you think about how far we've come as a species, and yet how much can still be left undiscovered. At the top, it might be smooth sailing, but beneath the surface lurks a different reality, a new frontier that we have only just begun to explore.
Absolutely, Tom. Our oceans are vast, deep, and still largely uncharted. And the geopolitical ramifications of this 21st century undersea Cold War could ripple out in ways we can't even predict yet. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Till next time, stay curious.
Keep your ears open and your minds ready. This is Hear the Web, signing off for today.